Have you ever dreamed of living like a king for a day? Or to have that small experience of going back in time and live in a medieval fortress? Maybe La Maison Forte de Reignac can be the answer you're looking for. I'm gonna make a bold statement. I honestly believe this is the best medieval museum I've ever been in, and I don't think I'll find another one like it. Truly. Let me explain. Good day, and welcome to He Has Forgotten, where I, your beloved Lord Danny, explore history and show forgotten and unknown places to the world, or at least to those of you who are watching. Today, I don't even need to create a time machine. This French mansion / fortified house is already one. Before telling the history of this place, I want to encourage a visit. Believe me when I say, the experience I had inside of this fortified house is unlike any other I've ever had. They really took this mansion and turned it into a time capsule. After the history, I'll take you on a tour so you can have a glimpse of every room, because they went above and beyond to give us a true experience. The fireplace is on, the fruits and vegetables are real, fresh bread every day, the smells, the ambient sounds. Believe me, it's amazing. They have a promotional video that, in my opinion, depicts perfectly the experience you'll have. I'll leave the link in the description, but for now, let's move on to the history. Located in the Dordogne department, in the commune of Tursac, France, along the left side bank of the Vézère River, this castle-like fortress was built strategically on a cliffside. The first cave dwellings date back to the 10th century, but the fortified house dates back to the 14th century, having its first window open in 1508. The fortified house of Reignac was not only a powerful lair perched on the side of a cliff, but a center of an estate where a lord lived surrounded by his family and his household staff. It's where he exercised this power and judged minor offenses on his lands. The fortification could resist attacks from robbers, looters, or kidnappers, but it wouldn't hold long against a real army. The particular location, high and shelter under the cliff, with 12 French gun ports, murder holes, traps, and bretèches, made it a terrific firepower. By the way, a bretèche is a small balcony with machicolations, usually built above gates, windows, or doors in order to protect them. Over 40 meters high, the caves provided a natural refuge that was never attacked. In the event of an attack, every man, woman, and children living in Reignac knew the position assigned to them. Equipped with their own weapons, they had to defend their positions. But who lived in a castle? Great question. In addition to the lord and his family, they included an animal groomer, maids, manservants, a cook, a falconer, and a dog keeper. However, these people did not have a strict job description and could be assigned to various tasks. Some lived in a castle, others in outer buildings. Until the construction of the so-called Cliff Castle in 1386, the place remained inhabited until 1931. On October 16, 1964, the Maison Forte de Reignac was listed as a historical monument. It remained closed for over 50 years until it was bought in December of 2005. It was finally reopened on Easter of 2006 after months of restoration. This unknown fortified home is open every day, even on holidays, but the opening hours change every month, so check the times before you go. I'll explain a bit about every room while going through them, but let me tell you some legends and folklore of this mansion. Jacques de Reignac is said to have a big dark side. His nickname was Bouc de Reignac because of his cruelties. Also, the Cliff Castle had the reputation of being haunted and even attract the attention of the media and paranormal investigators. I love bringing you these places and creating these in-depth videos, so if you enjoy them, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to help me grow and make more of these videos. Thank you. So now, let's jump into this immersive tour experience. My French is terrible, but welcome to la Maison Forte de Reignac. Now that we got close to it, it looks huge. Like it goes all the way to the top. And from here you can already start seeing what I was talking about, that people had their position in the house for attacking the attackers that came to attack the castle. This is one of the 2 or 3 doors that the castle has. It's really well protected. And here you can see, it's in French, but I have the video in English. Here you can see how people would put themselves in every single window to attack. It's really interesting because even children knew their own place to attack. Crazy. It's very sweet. I feel like a cat, it's a really French animal. I don't know why. Like I said before, I'm not going to show you everything because I don't want to spoil for you the visit. But here in this corner, it's like the pantry where they store little things. And the room that I'm going to show you next is the room that made me like, I have to film it. And it's literally the best museum ever. Literally. Welcome to the kitchen. Thanks, Danny. Such a nice young man. The kitchen is one of the first rooms you'll walk in, and definitely the one that feels more alive. Here, the cook and her helpers would work, eat, and sometimes even sleep, especially during the harsh winter months. All servants and peasants of the castle would eat here, and their meals consisted mainly of soup, lard, eggs, bread, cheese, and leftovers from their master's table. Evidence suggests that the lord and his family ate better than the servants, having different meals like veal, pork, rabbit, and wild boar. For fish, they had carp and crayfish from the river. For vegetables, they had green beans, broad beans, beets, lentils, and cabbage, always with bread on the table. The fruits they had were grapes, walnuts, chestnuts, apples, and blackberries. Not the phones, the actual fruit. Beverages for all were water, wine, and milk. There's a fireplace on, and it's real. In this place, they make such good effort to make it come alive, because you would not see this anywhere else. Like, you don't touch, but it's literally open. There's no railings, there's no glass. It's crazy. Before we go to this room, another curiosity about the kitchen. This fireplace is the only fireplace that was lit all year long. Even the cook and her helpers would stay here because this was the most cozy room of the house, and they would just be here all year long. Crazy. Now to this side. This is the part of the museum that talks about the prehistorical times. So I'm just going to briefly show it and show you a little bit. Look how they lived. So basically, this mountain is built in this structure, and they would live inside of these small caves. And the castle is actually built here. So what you see, you don't see the encavement, you just see the castle here, because the castle is all this. And if you look, we are inside of that. We are literally inside of it. The men called Cro-Magnians, or European early modern humans, basically the first Homo sapiens, were the first early modern humans to settle in Europe, migrating from Western Asia, continuously occupying the continent possibly as early as 56,000 years ago. A lot more can be said about this part of the museum, but you'll have to pay a visit to this prehistoric location. The music and the sound effects make this whole museum come to life. That's why I love it so much. Before we go into that room, I have to show you one thing. Here is the date of this wall was constructed. You barely can see it, but it says 1508. And throughout the castle are these plaques. They are in French, but if you want, you can ask in English in the gift shop. But they contain information, or in this case, important dates that happen in France and from the world. But let's move on from this beautiful furniture to more beautiful furniture. Another alive room. Again, fireplace on. Again, everything is here. The Great Room has remained unchanged for the past 500 years, and it was used as a dining room. The room is dominated by a large fireplace at its center, having two windows with their original stone seats, one on either side. The floor of this room is made of more than 17,000 small limestones. Furniture, on the other hand, changed over the centuries, now containing 16th century Renaissance furniture, as well as Louis XVIII furniture, a 19th century table, taxidermied animals, and a variety of war weapons. I have no words. There's even an eagle here. Not only to point out the eagle, but also the guns. There's guns everywhere. Literally, even a sword. The cabinets are no words. Musical instruments over here. A crown over here, literally a crown over here. More guns on this corner. And I'm gonna skip the chairs because this is just huge. And one final thing that I have to show. A cat is alive. No, but this is an incredible room. You guys should definitely visit. I cannot show everything. It would be hours of videos. So definitely check it out. I'm just gonna briefly show here and there, and when I see something that is interesting, I'll talk about it. Okay, now the staircase, I have to say, impressive staircase. One thing that people normally don't see, you see how it's like different in the form, it doesn't look like real steps. It's because this staircase was not square, it was a two-way spiral staircase. Like there was two spiral staircases here. The dormitory served as a common room for both legit and illegit children, as well as for the valet, the falconer, and all the domestic servants. It has been estimated that around 10 people slept here. With no heating system, the chimney coming from the room below was the heat source, only heating the room if the fireplace was well lit. The simplicity and uncomfortable nature of the room shows the difference in class between the occupants. It's impossible to find the period beds used for the simple fact that they were made of wooden cases with thin straw mattresses. And also look at the fireplace here. This is the fireplace that goes outside. By the way, there's one chimney. The other one is just a hole. And from the outside, you can literally see just the smoke coming out from both ways. It's crazy. And outside, you also can smell it. You hear? I love the sound effects. It didn't scare me, but I was like, what is moving? In this large room, everyday life would unfold, but its main function was as a reception room where parties and big events were celebrated. The floor and the fireplace were completely restored in 2007. The room is adorned with furniture from various periods, as well as more taxidermied animals, war weapons, paintings, and other decorative objects. This was the richest and most important room. Before I go to the weapons room, this is the dungeon. It's a small cell, extremely small. It was just for 1 or 2 prisoners, as you can see, 1 or 2. And again, I'm gonna say this a bunch of times, but this is crazy because this is real. There was people here and this is real. Just come to see for yourself, please. Please, welcome to the weapons room. The weapons and trophy room has on display authentic weapons and a selection of stuffed animals that would have been personally hunted by the Lord of Reignac. Here's where the jewelry, banknotes, weapons, and all valuable possessions would be saved. Adjacent to this room is the chapel. Behind me, here, this was a little chapel. It was not a place to make masses or anything, it was just a place of contemplation. Now comes the most interesting part. As you guys can see, we're already pretty up into the mountain, and now it's the views. Between the Iron Age, around 1750 BCE and the 13th century, these 2 terraces were walled off and modified several times. Only after the 1500s they were opened and reformed into what you can see today. The main cave was impregnable by the use of firearms. From here, you can admire the best views from the cliff castle to the surrounding area. Look at this. How it started, and this is the evolution until now. So you see here, round wall. This was literally a fortress. Even up there was houses. Up here where we are right now. And this is the transformation. Look, there's no round tower here. This is just the rest of the wall. If you're being attacked, you could come up here and throw stuff down there. If you come on this side, you see that you can only throw things that way. Doesn't open. But you also could be here and shoot through here. Oh, even opens. Before we show you the last room behind me, look, it's a taxidermy, but it looks so real. Even the fur, if you just go close to it, you can see the fur. Oh my God. This, the France. This is the bedroom of the Countess. Here would sleep the woman of the king or the knight or the count. And yeah, even the dresses are still here. I don't know what to say more. This museum is incredible. Danny was losing all his English words while filming this castle, so I'll fill in the rest. The Countess' bedroom is full of period furniture, like the beautiful four-posted bath, several sculpted furnishings, many remarkable decorative pieces and objects, multiple paintings, and many more things. Most of the furniture is from the 19th century. The room was a bit crowded, but now we're gonna pass the gift shop and go to the torture exhibition. I'm gonna show 3, and the rest you just have to come and see for yourself. It's crazy. Let's go. Let me give you a small warning before going into this room. I'll be showing, explaining, and telling the history of the Inquisition, torture, and death penalty instruments. Some parts can be graphic and not suitable for the faint of heart or children. This is in a separate room from the Fortified mansion tour, so if you want, you can skip while visiting. For the first example that I have here, it's very known. It's the stretcher. They would literally, I don't think it's called the stretcher, they call it the rack. They would literally put someone here laying down with her hands tied, feet here, and they will just pull, or feet there, or it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And they will just pull and pull and pull until the person would separate their yeah. Everything in here literally gives the creeps, really. But this is a horrible, all of them are horrible ways to die. So you don't want to die this way. The international exhibition on the Inquisition, torture, and death penalty shows how the justice system worked, as well as the penalties inflicted on the people who were condemned. Here, you can observe 80 artifacts related to torture and execution used in the Middle Ages. Most of these instruments are real and were used in the past. All of them have information and history plaques so you can read about them, as well as photos, sometimes too graphic, of how these torture devices were used. Literally, people would be sliced in half, like everyone watching, and 2 people just casually sawing someone. And you can see these saws. By the way, I don't know if I told this, but all of the instruments in here, all the torture devices are real. These were used. And just thinking of someone upside down being tortured, being... Torture has been used for centuries, going back to indigenous people, but not in the same way it was used in the Middle Ages. It is the deliberate use of violence to inflict severe suffering on an individual. In France, the death penalty was abolished in October 1981, but the abolition of torture is not linear. In my research, I learned that King Louis XVI of France abolished torture around the 1780s, but I also found that torture was still being used in the 20th century and was only abolished in 1986, so it still remains inconclusive to me. What I know is that back in the Middle Ages, the Inquisition and its agents plunged Europe into terror and oppression. They often used torture to force people to talk or confess the truth, only stopping the torture after the extortion. But it was also used as a punishment to inspire terror and even for pure cruelty. In the Middle Ages, they used the word question as a replacement for the word torture. There's many of these instruments, these torture instruments. For example, the interrogation chair, very known, is the spike chair, also the cage that has the spikes inside. I cannot show you all of them, and there's some unique ones and weird ones, so just come see for yourself, because you just have to be here and experience it. It's weird. The last torture device I'll be explaining is the Inquisition chair, also known as the Iron Chair. It is a device that originated in Europe's Middle Ages, where the victim was seated and tied to the chair, which contained several numbers of spikes, ranging from 500 to 1,500. Slowly, the victim would be punctured, causing blood loss, and in some cases, get infected from the rusty metal. And if you're wondering, the main objective of this exhibition is to provide information and to demonstrate machines, tools, and techniques used to torture in the Middle Ages, as well as a duty of remembrance, to denounce this system that is still being used in some countries today. They use some quotes from men in the past to convey the message, one of them being, "We kill for the sake of killing." I know, it's nauseous. And I also want to leave a personal message here. Let's spread love instead of hate. The world that we live in today has so much hate, and it looks like it's driven exclusive by it. It's horrible. We as human beings should be helping and spreading love to one another, not hate. The museum wants to emphasize that the main tour of the Maison Forte de Reignac does not include this exhibition. It is in a separate room at the end. And yeah, subscribe. Wait, I think Danny has something to say. In my honest opinion, this is one of the best museums I've seen in my life, and I've seen a lot of stuff, but this is the best. Bold statement, but true. I have to say that this video and all the research done was made by me. It was not sponsored by La Maison de la Reignac, although I wish it was. It's a goal of mine to one day be sponsored by a private or a public entity like town halls, museums, foundations, etc. to film their unknown or forgotten places. It would be a dream come true. So tag the mention, let them see the video, and hope they enjoy it. If you're watching, I hope you enjoy the video. There's a link in the description for this castle and for more information of this castle if you want to come and visit it. And I would 100% recommend, if you're in France, visit it. Jesus, so repetitive. My English was broken by the beauty of this building, obviously. Like and share this video to help me grow. I try to post as often as I can, and the next one is gonna be a crazy one. I already have the pamphlet, so get ready for it. And as always, leave your thoughts, opinions, and love down in the comments. It's always lovely to hear from you. Also, tell me if you knew or if you visited this cliff castle. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. This little Portuguese guy says bye. I know. Hello. I'm trying to put my script in a way so you guys do not see it, although I have a script. Little secrets. I should share these secrets more. I'm only gonna need music for the intro, the rest I don't need. Now is the part of the script that I have to talk to you. Okay. Think before you say something. Okay. I can put it as a sound effect. Good day, and welcome to He Has Forgotten, where I, your beloved Lord Danny... I cannot say this without laughing. The crazy one. I already have the plan flash. Also, tell me if you knew or if you visited. Welcome to La Forte de Reignac. Also, tell me if you know this mansion or if you ever visited it. Visit it. That's a problem with me. Visit it. I make a script for the whole video and then some parts I improvise, and now I don't know how to improvise. God damn it. I'm just trying to make time today because I don't have enough bloopers and Daniel is not here, so I have to make bloopers on my own. Jacquemet. No, Jacquemet. Jacquemet.